Hi, Libra. Welcome to your May 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a break from those, but keep an eye out on the community section of the channel. I'll make an update there if I start to open them up soon. Or at the very least, if I take a little bit of a longer break, by the time I start posting the June videos, I'll give you guys an update there. As far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic cross spread. And we have a couple of Oracle cards I pulled for you as well, and a Mudra card. So, starting with the main situation, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is actually Virgo energy, which for you guys is your 12th house. But of course, naturally, if we take this in a more traditional sense, this could just be saying that you guys are really focusing on your work right now. Mars actually will be moving into your 6th house of work and daily routine in May, so that could be part of the reason why, at the very least. Let me look at what date that is. Yeah, so right in the middle of the month is when you're going to actually have Mars move into your 6th house. So that could be part of the reasoning behind it as well. But yeah, this looks like you're really focusing on your work and possibly even trying to generate some income for yourself. So, for example, what I always say if I look at the artwork of this card is I say this person's quite literally making their own money, right? So that could be the position you guys are in right now, where maybe you've started to work for yourself, or maybe you already have been, but you're just really kicking up the energy on that right now. In the challenge or obstacle position, we have the Hermit and the Five of Swords. So this is actually Aquarius energy here, and then this is more Virgo energy. This is the major arcana card for Virgo. So for some of you, I will say that maybe part of the reason why you're throwing yourselves into this work like this is because you're using it as a form of a distraction, because maybe you might have had a conflict with someone. Usually these are those petty type of ego battles too, where going into the conversation, you know it's not going to turn out well, but you still do it anyway. So it could be one of those things where to distract yourself from actually looking at that, you're actually going to just be focused more on your work at this time. So that could be what's at play there. And then as far as the timeline goes, maybe even while Mars was traveling through those degrees of Aquarius might have been when it happened too, especially because as it was moving through those first 10 degrees of Aquarius, it made a square with the Uranus. So there definitely could have been some conflicts that arose around that time. So that's what I'm seeing there. In the foundation position, we have the Four of Swords. So this is actually Libra energy here, represents the last 10 degrees of Libra. So for some of you, this can just represent that you are healing from that situation, whatever it may have been. I do have to say, maybe for some of you, it could have even been a job loss of some kind, right? And now, maybe because of that, you started to find a way to generate your own income in the meantime. But yeah, with this in the foundation, it does represent that you are healing in some way, shape, or form. So like I said, maybe some of you found that the best way to heal from the situation that you might have gone through is just to really bury yourself in your work right now, even if just temporarily. But yeah, and then for some of you, this can represent as well that maybe you've taken a bit of a time out. Maybe when all of these things started to happen, for example, with the pandemic, maybe it really might have hit you guys hard initially, especially because you had a whole lot of energy going through your 4th house, a lot of karmic energy there, and then maybe you guys might have taken a little bit of time off, and now you're like, okay, now I have to get back to work, right? So maybe you feel like, all right, now I really need to get back into gear. So that could be how it's playing out for some of you as well. In the past position, we have the Hierophant. So this is actually Taurus energy here. And again, like I said, for some of you, this can be pointing to that energy what I was talking about, where maybe that Mars and Uranus square took place between Aquarius and Taurus. Maybe this is just you now. Again, maybe you guys worked for a huge corporation, let's say, right? And maybe they actually started to do layoffs. Like I said, for those of you who might have experienced a job loss, and maybe that's had you questioning, like, okay, was it in my best interest now to have faith in these types of organizations, right? That when shit hits the fan, they might just, out of nowhere. I mean, look at the number of people that have been laid off. It's been kind of ridiculous, So maybe it has you questioning, like, okay, well, is this really as stable of a, living as I thought it was, right? For others of you, this can be around a relationship as well, because like I said, I could see that might have been what was at play too. maybe to distract yourself from a conflict you might have had with a significant other. Maybe you're just throwing yourselves into your work. But yeah, that's why I see there with the past energy. In the present energy, we see the Seven of Pentacles, so actually more Taurus energy here now. So a lot of Earth energy either way. But yeah, with this in the present position, this could also represent what helps kick you into that Eight of Pentacles energy too, where again, maybe you feel like you're not where you want to be financially, right? Maybe you're looking at investments that you might have made, and maybe now, like with all the market volatility, maybe you're looking at that like, okay, well, is that really the best way forward for me, right? So maybe you're reconsidering where you're investing your time, your energy, your resources in general. This could also be a comparison thing too, though, where now maybe you might be looking at how others are doing compared to you, and maybe you're a bit disappointed there. Maybe that's what's throwing you back into your work as well. Like, okay, I need to really catch up. So, a few different ways that energy could be playing out. But usually this energy does represent some level of disappointment with where you're at, regardless of how you got there. In the near future position, we have the Four of Pentacles, the World, the Two of Cups, the Nine of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. So a ridiculous amount of energy here. I could probably spend a really long time going over it, but I'm going to try to just organize into one probable scenario. With the Four of Pentacles here, of course, this represents that energy of being closed off. I could see that, representing a bit of a continuation of that Seven of Pentacles energy. But again, like I said, I feel like this is you really thinking about, okay, how best to invest my time, my money, my energy, my resources, right? With the World, this represents that you might come to a conclusion around that, like, okay, I think I've made up my mind about how I want to move forward, right? And then for some of you, this could represent that because maybe you figured out what you wanted to do in a certain area of life, that might open you up to other areas of life. So for some of you, this could represent a love partnership, for example, that maybe you're ready to enter into now. Maybe because you got your finances a bit more under control now, you feel like, okay, now that I've moved past that phase, now maybe I'm ready to move on to this next phase, right? Which is to secure something as far as your love life goes. Or for some of you, this could even represent going into partnerships around your careers, since Cancer energy for you guys is your 10th house. But we do see there's still some anxiety around that with the Nine of Swords energy, which is a Gemini energy. So, it could be one of those things where you might be overthinking the situation a little bit. And then it has you a bit reluctant to actually make that investment. So whether it be in a person, whether it be an actual literal financial investment, whether it's your time, your energy, right? So there could be some reluctance there. And we could see that too with the Knight. They do still have all that armor, right? So even though he's coming forward with an offer, he's still a bit guarded in doing so. So that could be what's at play there. So for some of you, this can be, maybe you're coming to the realization that you're ready to try to reconcile with that person that you might have had a falling out with. For others of you, like I said, maybe this is you ready to enter into a partnership with someone, but still having some anxiety around that. Especially because the Knight of Pentacles being Virgo energy, for you guys, that's also your 12th house. So you might be second guessing, can I really trust this? Is this really my intuition, or am I just, looking at things wrong? So there could be a little bit of confusion around your thought process there. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Five of Wands. So, in a more positive sense, this could just represent you, like I said, feeling like you really need to throw your hat in the ring, right, and start competing. So that could be how it's playing out for some of you, where like, okay, you know what, I took some time off, right? Maybe I was, maybe you were panicking about what direction is all of this stuff going to go in, right, with the pandemic and everything, and the way it's impacted economies all around the world. And maybe now you're like, okay, well, I could sit there and dwell on that, but I need to get back to work, right? So maybe this is you guys throwing yourselves back into that area of life. But this is Leo energy, which is your 11th house of friends and groups. So this could just be saying that maybe there's some conflict then around that energy as well. So, we have both of those fives now. This is the Aquarius side of that energy. This is the Leo side of that energy. So it could definitely be around friends, possibly around romance as well. Obviously, there's that possibility. Trying to see if anything else comes to mind there. But yeah, it does look like for whatever reason, you're feeling a bit competitive. So I don't know if this is around towards a specific person, or like I said, maybe because you felt like, okay, maybe I took a little bit too much time off recently. Right now, you feel like you need to play catch up in order to get your finances where you want them to be. I don't know. And then, of course, this could, if it is around romance for some of you too, it could represent that maybe you end up repeating that pattern. And maybe for some of you, that's even why you were throwing yourself into your work, because you might have felt like, okay, I know that if I go to talk to this person right now, it's going to lead to this conflict, all right? So that could be how it's playing out for some of you. In the environment position, we have the Nine of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. So this is more Virgo energy here, so there's a ton of Virgo energy here, which, could make sense because let's say you're a Libra sun, you might have your Mercury and or your Venus in Virgo. That's pretty common, or vice versa. If you're a Virgo sun, maybe you have a lot of Libra placements. But yeah, seeing this, and then that Six of Cups, this makes me think it's Scorpio energy, so it makes me think of that full moon in Scorpio. So maybe around your finances, so maybe you actually get some kind of an offer from someone else. That could be how it comes out too, where you do get a boost to your finances in some way. And that could be what that's representing there, right? And possibly the chance to start over again in some way, shape, or form too, and develop a partnership. So we did see that in the near future with the Two of Cups. So for some of you, this could be you guys extending that offer, maybe because if you are financially better off now, you feel more confident in extending an offer, like, hey, let's partner up, right? Whether it be, like I said, romance or an actual business dealing. And as far as the timing goes, it might be around the full moon in Scorpio when you guys might feel the nudge to make that move. Or, like I said, for some of you, it can be someone coming towards you, but I do feel like for most of you, it'll probably be you actually making the offer, especially if we see a lot of action cards on your side. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So more Taurus energy here, and this is actually the first 10 degrees of Taurus, which is where Uranus is right now. The time I'm recording this, we haven't had that new moon in Taurus yet, but it's coming up soon, so could even be pointing to that energy where maybe, something around that time might have been what made you feel like, okay, I really need to get on top of my finances, right? But keep in mind that whether this is a good or a bad card, I always point out to people in this position in particular, hopes or fears, it's just more of something that's on your mind, not a true indicator that this is what's actually going to play out for you guys. So yeah, I feel like this is just more pointing to what's fueling all of this for you. It's like there's that fear of not having enough, right? So you're like really throwing yourself into your work pretty heavily. And maybe that's even just been how you've been in the past, right? Maybe that, for example, that's how you were raised. Like, oh, you have to work hard, you have to do this. And I mean, generally speaking, that is true, right? But maybe you've taken it a bit too far. And now with all the financial uncertainty, you're realizing, well, if all of that could be ripped away so easily, right? As a lot of people are finding out, unfortunately, maybe that's having you reconsider, well, is it really worth that I've been doing that? But for a lot of you, this, at least for me, shows why you've been in this mode of like, all right, I'm really plugging away at my work because I feel like if I don't, I'm going to fall behind. I'm not going to have enough, right? And like I said, that's common for a lot of people to be feeling that right now with the way things are. Good thing is, either way, regardless how that's playing out for you in the outcome position, we do have the Six of Pentacles. So more Taurus energy here. But at the very least, this shows balance, right? And the interesting thing here is when we have that full moon in Scorpio, which will be around, well, let me see what the date is going to be on that. Yeah, right around the 7th of May. And it's going to be within those middle 10 degrees of Scorpio. And the sun, in the meantime, will be in these degrees, the middle 10 degrees of Taurus, of course. So to me, this says that definitely watch out for something to take place around that Scorpio full moon. There could be some significance there, and maybe, for example, you might get a payment that comes in that you were waiting on for a while. Maybe you reach some agreement with someone around finances around that time. Could definitely be the case, since again, that is going to be a full moon in your second house. Um, for others of you, like I said, this can represent you restoring balance with a connection where you might have had a falling out with someone, and maybe you threw yourself into your work for a while, and maybe you feel like, even through the process of doing that, maybe that's even what this represents. Like, that feeling still comes up, like, okay, I really want to resolve this, right? But maybe you've just been waiting for cooler heads to prevail, and maybe that's the timing behind it. As far as locking anything down with more of a long-term basis, I would say, even though Venus will be retrograde around the time of the Gemini new moon, which will be more towards the end of May, that new moon is going to be trine Saturn. So even though there could be a little bit of uncertainty with your ruler Venus going retrograde around that same time, Mercury will be with Venus around the time of that new moon, which should help you to at least be able to clear up any confusion around financial dealings around that time. And then, like I said, that new moon could help you build something stable. You just might, see some delayed results with that. So that's that. All right, moving on to your oracle cards. First, we have soulmates. There's the artwork, and the number is 41. So, numerologically speaking, that reduces to a 5, and we see a lot of 5 energy. The Hierophant, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, so 5 of Pentacles, all kinds of 5. So, maybe this will help put some of that in perspective for you when we read that. Okay, it says harmonious partnerships, love, friendship, companionship, a relationship fostering personal growth. The Oracle's message: you are meant to evolve and transform with the companionship of others. Certain people enter into your life in order to take you to the next level of healing, consciousness, and authenticity. It is always a reciprocal experience, although the results for each of you will vary. You know these people by the strong pull drawing you toward them, and sometimes by a strong aversion to them initially too. Soulmates can be friends for life or remain in your life for only a short time. No matter what, you will be changed in ways you can't possibly fathom now. Pay attention to these people today. They are your greatest gifts. So definitely an interesting message there, and maybe that's even what those 5 energies are representing too, right? Where, like I said, I feel like, maybe there is some kind of tension between you and whoever this is, whether it be a group, maybe even a workplace, an actual romantic partner. It depends on your situation. The relationship message says, consider love in the deepest sense. Love so powerful that you will never be the same, regardless of how long your relationship lasts. Consider friendships and romantic bonds so compelling that they overwhelm you with gratitude or break you open so you will finally claim who you were meant to be. Even a companion animal reminds you that it is you who is being rescued and healed. Pay attention, for you are in the presence of a soulmate come to guide you home to the real you. So an interesting message there as well. And, maybe that's even saying that if there was some kind of conflict with you guys, maybe that was actually in the long run for your benefit as well. And maybe that's why we do see, that potential supportive energy where you guys can get a restart. So maybe it was about, for example, you really relying more on your independence during that time. Maybe it was something you needed for that time. And I almost forgot to mention, actually, at the bottom of the deck, you guys have the Chariot as well. So this represents movement, represents victory, and also, given that it's Cancer energy, that does represent your 10th house of career as well. So for those of you, if this is around career, that definitely seems to be a bit promising to see that at the bottom of the deck. All right, and speaking of career, the prosperity message says strategic alliances are most important right now as you begin to attract the perfect people to support your dreams. This is a journey you will share with others. Mentors, business partners, helpers, employees, creative partners, friends, and strangers open doors for you and step through the portal to join you in a harmonic dance of collaboration, commitment, and co-creation. This is what you've been waiting for. So interesting there, because I could definitely see that energy pointing to that near future situation I was talking about, where You have that Four of Pentacles, then the World card, right? And showing that there's still that anxiety with the Nine of Swords energy, but it does look like you will still move forward anyway. And like I said, maybe a bit guarded in doing so, but it looks like you will move forward to partner up in some way, shape, or form. All right. And moving on to your next oracle card, we have Wolf Spirit. It says turn knowledge into wisdom. There's the artwork, and the number is 67. Okay, it says Wolf Spirit leads you deep into the enchanted forest that holds the secrets to your life. Can you sense her beckoning you to follow, asking you to take all you have learned and all you are learning and make it yours? Can you integrate it all into your body, mind, and spirit? Whatever lessons you learned along the way, do not leave them unexamined. Being loyal to your dreams, to your soul, and to turning knowledge into wisdom and experience into magic. You are the one you have been waiting for. Be still and know that the sound of your heart beats in harmony with the whole world. The appearance of Wolf Spirit is an auspicious omen that says you are truly in alignment with your destiny. So, I mean, pretty self-explanatory message there, right? And I could even be saying for some of you regarding these energies I'm seeing here that if there's something that you have had to speak up about, but you've been reluctant to do so, maybe this is actually nudging you to actually do that. Maybe it's something that doesn't need to be said and people need to hear, right? So hopefully that resonated for you. And then the last thing we have is a Mudra card for you guys. And the Mudra you guys got is the Makara Mudra. And the keyword for it is fertility. All right, and there's the info on it if you wanted to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says improves memory, strengthens the kidneys, helps to relieve low back pain, nourishes the hair, restores energy reserves. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial, I will put the name of the mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.